Hi, everyone. We are now joined by LA Galaxy head coach Greg Vanney. We will start with a question from Scott French. Scott, go ahead.
Hi, Greg.
Scott, how are you?
Wanted to get your thoughts on playing a brand new team, playing its first game in its home stadium, and also what you saw in their team in their first game and your impression of them.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic just for the game, for a new franchise to come into our league and have 75,000 people show up to the first one. Clearly, there's going to be a lot of emotion involved, both for their fans and for their team, and for us, it's about managing that emotion and the excitement that they're going to have at the beginning, for sure, and allowing the game an opportunity to kind of settle in. At the end of the day, it becomes a soccer game at some point, but for sure, at the beginning, there's a lot of there's emotion, there's anxiousness, there's probably a lot of extra energy at the beginning. So it's again to manage the environment, to manage the situation, and a team that obviously can be dangerous. When I watched their game back, I think they were a little unlucky in DC. I thought they were organized. They obviously want the ball. They want to play with the ball. They're not afraid to play through some pressure. They have good ideas. And they were a little unfortunate in terms of the timing of the goals, and they were a bit of against the run of play for me. Just the way the goals came about. So clearly, I think a team we have to, like all teams in our league, every team is difficult to play against. Every game is tough. We have to respect it, and we have to perform, and we have to handle the whole environment the right way.
It's also a game on artificial turf. Of course, you play some games on artificial turf in this league, but that's never the best situation.
Yeah, 3 of our next 4 are on turf, so we got to deal with it. It is what it is, but I think. We got to play the conditions. That's part of the conditions is the turf. I think for us, we'd like to keep the ball on the turf as much as possible and keep it moving as quickly as possible. And and it is what it is. It shouldn't change the way we play. We just have to be aware of it and play it as it is.
Thank you, Greg.
Yep. Thanks, Scott.
We'll go with Josh Gesslin.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
All right, Josh, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. A couple questions. I want to know injury update on Derek and whether or not you anticipate he'll be either available for selection or travel with you to Charlotte. And then also looking at Julian Araujo and that incident in the 32nd minute from the last game. Has MLS given you any indication that they're looking at that? Do you expect Julian to be with you over the weekend?
First, Derek will travel with us, and he'll be available for selection. Second, Julian, no indication of anything to come off of that, so he will be with us.
All right, perfect. And then I guess just to sort of look at what you've seen over this last week or just the last couple of days, it hasn't even been that long, but do you feel like Douglas Costa settling in a little bit more? We saw a little bit from him on Sunday, obviously. Do you feel like he's really starting to fit into this team?
Yeah, I do. I think with it was his first match, first time in the stadium, the environment. It's managing a little bit of those things. Collectively, just kind of, again, connecting with the guys and understanding. I think, for us as a group, it was maybe not our best day with the ball. We had some moments, but I think, there are some things we've talked this week about clearing up, which will both help him. And I think ultimately for him is just it's repeatability. It's getting his legs under him, being able to play at the speed and the capacity that he wants to and that he's capable of and that the game demands for 90 minutes and being able to repeat the things that he's capable of doing. So he keeps building upon that every day that we have a chance to get on the field. He's improving in his fitness and working through that. And I'm starting to see good relationships and connections on the field with him. It's for us also to understand ways that we can create space for him, create advantageous situations, give him the scenarios that are going to best suit him to help him create opportunities for us or for himself. And so those things are evolving with this group as we continue to work from session to session, week to week. So I suspect that it'll be better. We'll see how they come out to play. They've shown a couple different ways of playing, and for us will be to kind of assess what that looks like and have the right solutions for not just for Douglas, but for everybody.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with Damien.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Great, Damien. How are you?
Good. Just want to touch again on Raheem Edwards. He said Sunday that this is his first time he's had to focus at left back being his number one position. What led you to sort of first to bring him in and then also to have him sort of shift back to the back line?
For one, he's a very good soccer player. He's obviously he's been maybe at times a little more of an attacker through his career as a winger, as a wing back, as an 8. I think he has all the capacities to be a fullback. It's just about an attention to detail and an understanding of just positional responsibilities. He's engaged. It's something he wants to do. It's a conversation that we had when he was still a free agent about his willingness and desire to become that player, to become a fullback, to understand and to dive into all the nuances that it takes to be great at that. He wants to be a master of something and not kind of a jack of all trades, and to be that with our group and in our environment. And I think it gives him an opportunity even to maybe grow into a national team picture for a team like Canada is to really start to understand those nuances. But his soccer ability, his ability to get us off the sideline, to get out of trouble, to create attacks, to do all of those things is of a high level. So now I think, again, for him, it's focusing on being a master at something, and that is going to be, as a left back. There's some moments through the game that he's seeing that we showed him, just in terms of his recognition of where he is positionally, things like that he just needs to continue to be attentive on and focused on, and he will, and he'll keep building. But he's got a lot of capacity. For us, we knew we needed someone there, because obviously Jorge ended the season last year with the knee contusion that lasted for a long time, and Jorge's still working back to his full 100% mobility and capacity, and so we knew we needed somebody there. We didn't have a lot of international spots. Raheem is a fantastic player that I'm really happy that he felt like we were a good spot for him, so it all kind of fit together, and his desire to want to be great at that is what tied it all together.
And this late, he's been in the league almost, I don't know, several years, but you really don't get players that want to make a change this late in their career, do you?
Yeah, you find players who have had a certain level of success, but maybe haven't broken in to be the everyday guy in a specific role. But guys who've had to that point some level of success have shown a capacity to be excellent at certain things within the game, but maybe haven't just locked down a spot that has been theirs year in and year out. And so Ra was kind of in that space. He had moved from a couple different teams. Like I said, he had played a couple different roles. Even last year, he played sometimes inside as an 8 and sometimes wide as a wing back. And so you see a player with capacity and a desire to be something, a master of something, and like I said, and not a jack of all trades, then that's an opportunity. Again, I've had a player like that, Richie Larea, a couple of years ago, who has similar capacities, was fantastic and slippery with the ball. He was always a central midfielder and attacking midfielder, and he wanted to become something different to change his career, and he bought into being a right back, and it's kind of the same trajectory that Ra has, the same mentality that Ra has, and similar capacities. And so it's just about the learning and committing every day to improving on the details of that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
We'll go with Andy Diosa. Andy, go ahead.
Hey Greg, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
Greg, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to know, you've obviously seen the league grow and seen it from all different facets, and the fact that Charlotte has these big aspirations for attendance this week. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on how much that proves that, the league is growing, it's going in the right direction, and how much fans have really bought into it, not even just in Charlotte, but around the country.
Yeah, the growth of this league over the years it's staggering, really. When you see, we're still a pretty young league at 26 years old or roughly, and just the addition of the sheer quantity of cities that have been added into the league, in addition to the cities that want MLS franchises, shows you both the success of the league, but also just the growth of the sport and the interest in the sport. And North Carolina I grew up in Virginia. I have family that's in the southern part of Virginia, not very far from the Raleigh-Durham area, and it's a hotbed. There's been talented players there. Soccer's been a big deal. You have the ACC. You have 3 fantastic universities all within each other in that area, and it's a sports town. And so it's really not surprising that soccer is such a hit there. And the fans have wanted it. They've obviously backed ownership and helping to bring that franchise there, and now they're backing it because their season tickets are super high, and the first game is the culmination of a lot of excitement and a lot of work by many people to help bring that franchise to North Carolina. So it's exciting. Again, a lot of eyes will be on that game just because it's their first, and the sheer capacity or the sheer quantity of fans that are going to be at the game. It'll be a spectacle, and again, important for us. From just all of that is irrelevant outside of what's happening outside of the field. It's to be able to stay focused on the job and the task at hand, and be able to manage what is a team that is going to be very excited and have a lot of, like I said, emotion wrapped up into trying to get a result in this match.
We'll go with Felipe Cardenas next.
Hi, Greg. Felipe Cardenas with The Athletic. How are you?
All right, Felipe, thanks.
Thank you. You mentioned positional responsibility in regards to Raheem Edwards. I'd like to ask you something similar about Kevin Cabral and Julian as well. Mm-hmm. What do you believe, or what do you expect their evolution to be this season, as far as how they play their positions, the way you want them to improve, what they're doing well, but essentially this season, where should they be by season's end?
Yeah, fair question. Again, they're young guys that are growing. For me, Jules grew a lot last year in defensive awareness, in some of his understanding of things positionally. Game reading was better. Jules needs to take another step forward in that. He is an intense competitor. He has incredible physical attributes. For him is to now play the game, in my opinion, just to play the game a little bit more positionally aware, a little bit more proactive and anticipating in terms of game reading. It's understanding when he should be wide versus when he should be closing off space on the inside, when to break and make a run forward to even open up space for Douglas Costa to get the ball, or to arrive into an attack as a secondary attacker. We've seen when he does get into those final actions, his final product has improved. And continues to improve. So again, it's a lot of it comes with recognition of scenarios, game reading, timing, things like that we can continue to evolve him. And because he, again, everything else is there: his desire, his capacity, his intensity, his physical attributes. And so it's nuance, and like I talked about with Raw, it's a little bit different with Jules. He's had a little bit more experience, but it's still nuance in the position, and recognizing what the team needs at any given moment and being able to deliver that, and not relying sometimes on his sheer physical capacity to make up maybe for a missed moment or a misread. It's to be able to have that whole side just under control for 90 minutes, and that's what we're shooting for with Jules, and he's an eager learner, just like we talked about with Raw. And so it's a process, but it's about staying engaged and locked in, and for every single second of the game, and being able to apply the necessary response to all of those moments. So he's progressing at that, and I suspect he'll have another year of growth from that side of things. For Kevin, again, I think Kevin's actually very clever about his positioning and his running and his timing, and so for me, the growth side for Kevin is it's really in final product. And sometimes it's continuing to mature on the physical side, so he has, he's a little more brave with what his physical side is in terms of just the duel or holding up a ball, or sometimes using his body to shield off a player to win himself time to put the ball in the right spot. And it's the final product. It's when he gets into these great areas that he's so capable of getting to because of his physical attributes and the timing of his running. It's just to have a higher percentage of quality at the end. It's the finish, it's the cross, it's those things. And for him, it's really repetition. It's just, some of the things technically we want to have him adapt. Maybe instead of using this technique, he should use that in that scenario, and just helping him understand that and then get the repetition of that. And then in the moment, obviously, it comes down to having sort of the composure in the moment to execute on what you need. Again, a lot of that comes with repetition. So our goal last year was to integrate these guys, to set up a game model, have guys kind of understand what their roles and responsibilities were in the team. This year, our goal with these guys is to really give them what they need from an individual standpoint, from a repetition standpoint. So I don't need to teach Kevin too much more about what our game model is. What I need to do and what our group needs to do is give him as much repetition in those scenarios where he can be successful in the final product. And and he'll continue to grow at that. We've seen that all around the league. Tati Castellanos over the last few years has gotten better and better around the goal and has produced more goals from where he was when he arrived and to where he is now. Kevin will do the same. He'll continue to improve, and he will become a guy who is consistently goal dangerous and final action dangerous. No doubt about it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We have one last one with Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead. Actually, I think Gio has popped off. Greg, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good day.